This is KRWG Public Media Election 2023 coverage featuring the Las Cruces City Council District 4 candidates. Hello, I'm Anthony Moreno. KRWG Public Media and the League of Women Voters of Southern New Mexico are pleased to present this forum. The rules for the forum are simple. Each candidate has up to 60 seconds to answer each question and should not mention their opponents in their answers. We want to welcome our candidates, starting with the incumbent candidate, Johana Bencomo, Ramon Ortega, Gabriel Duran Jr., and Lorenzo Medina, who cannot join us for the forum. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. My co-moderator for this forum is Liz Rodriguez-Johnson with the League of Women Voters of Southern New Mexico. I'll now begin with the first question for the incumbent candidate, Bencomo. What are the skills and background experiences that equip you to be a Las Cruces City Councilor?
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you to KRWG and the League of Women Voters for having us here today. I had the incredible honor of being elected by an overwhelming majority of the vote 4 years ago. And in those last 4 years, I have built and cultivated relationships with a diverse set of people in our city, like my neighbors, constituents, nonprofit leaders, advocates, small business leaders, and city staff and our unions in order to really tackle the important issues of Las Cruces and that Las Cruces is facing. And now the realities of the ripple effects of the pandemic are being really felt today with a housing crisis, a fentanyl crisis, poverty, violence. I know that I have the knowledge, the experience, the compassion, and the courage to get us through these difficult moments in Las Cruces. And so I'm excited to be here again and asking the voters to trust me once more for another 4 more years.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Ortega, same question.
Thank you all for inviting me also. I'm a business owner. I know economics. I know how to run a business, like what the city needs change at this time. Really big change. We have high crime. We have unhoused individuals on the streets that we need to work with the city council and see what we could do to take care of all that. And that's about it.
Okay, Mr. Duran.
All right, well, thank you, KRWG, the League of Women Voters, New Mexico State University, for having me. Well, for myself, I think a lot of the experience I've gained starts back, with my roots. I have 5 generations of roots there in Las Cruces, as well as in the district, as well as District 4. I'm a veteran. My time in the United States Army equipped me with skills in leadership and how to face adversity. I am, as a father and a coach, I've developed a lot of skills in the leadership, management, and patience and understanding. My experience as a Las Cruces Public School substitute teacher has also gained me a lot of experience with the Las Cruces school system, the staff, and the students. And also just as a in my experience in business, which has given me fiscal experience. More importantly, I feel like I also provide critical thinking skills to take for our issues. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's our time for that one. We'll now move on to the next question.
Mr. Ortega, if elected, what are your top priorities for your district?
Top priorities would be crime to begin with, infrastructure in the neighborhood. It needs a lot of work on that, and unhoused individuals that are on that side in that district, we need to take care of. We need to bring back businesses to bring up the economic in this city, in that district, and take, just give the voice back to the city, to the citizens of Las Cruces, what I want to do, and have their voices heard again. And I think I'm a good leadership for this area.
Okay. Well, my top priorities are going to be public safety, and I think all the priorities that I have kind of intertwine and intersect with each other, especially here in Las Cruces. So, local business, crime, and homelessness problem, and really just to fight for the district specifically. I think one of the big priorities is to stand up against a coalition of unhoused communities, just specifically in our district. I think we need somebody to like myself who will stand up for the district, and yeah, because we do. Public safety is a huge thing, and we need to also support our law enforcement and other city departments.
Thank you. First and foremost, community safety is and will continue to be a top priority for me, not only to include making sure that our police department and our fire department have what they need to do their jobs well, but beyond that, community safety really is about ensuring we have housing stability and a wide range of housing options for many folks. This also includes mental health resources and substance use resources. Revitalization is a second one. I took a lead on bringing 2 metropolitan redevelopment areas to the city, one in West Bacacha corridor and the other in the El Paseo South Solana corridor. These 2 areas have long been neglected and blighted, and I really believe that we can bring life to them with these economic development tools. And then lastly, continue to increase neighborhood infrastructure needs. Really, in the last 4 years, we increased the pavement management system from $4 million to $10 million, and that will continue to be a priority for me to ensure that our neighborhoods are walkable and that we have safe streets.
Okay, we're moving on to the next question. What do you feel are the biggest challenges facing public safety in Las Cruces? And we're going to spend a couple of questions on this. We'll begin with Mr. Duran.
In regards to public safety, a couple ways that we gotta tackle this. Number one is we do have ordinance in place that are supposed to protect the public from a lot of the things that are happening right now, and we need to be able to enforce those. We also need to be able to supply resources when it comes to mental health, drug addiction, and not only that, victims of crime within a lot of those communities, and we need to also equip our law enforcement with and codes with the resources that they need, and we need cleaner parks. Unfortunately, as a coach, I go to practice at a local park, and kids are about to come on to practice, and there's needles on the ground. Those types of things.
Okay, that is our time, and we're moving on to Councilor Bencomo.
I think one of the biggest challenges regarding public safety right now is the fentanyl crisis. I think fentanyl has really been a game changer for our communities. I think substance use disorder is a tremendous issue impacting individuals, families, and our wider community. I've had many conversations with our new interim police chief, who says that this is just another epidemic that we really have to figure out how to tackle and bring in federal resources to do so. One of the things I really would like to do and have already started doing with city management is bringing what is called an outreach court, or a homeless court, which is an extension of municipal court for people who find themselves in this cycle of violence and getting these misdemeanors. And we have to ensure that we are addressing the issue at the root cause so that we can actually interrupt violent patterns of violence. And I really believe that plugging them into wraparound services, community service projects, substance use programs is the right way to go.
We are moving on to Mr. Ortega.
Can I hear the question again?
Sure. What do you feel are the biggest challenges facing public safety in Las Cruces?
Well, the drug use is pretty high in the neighborhood, and mental health is another problem we need. We need a place to where we could take these people that have the mental health problems. We know the county has one, but the city does not have one, which I think we need one now, not tomorrow, now, to help get these people off the street, get them their help that they need, and move on with them, and that will reduce half of the crime in Las Cruces right there. Another thing is going back to the police department and retraining them the right way. Right now, it needs change. The police department needs change.
Okay, that is our time. We're moving on to the next question.
Okay, Councilwoman Bencomo, what do you think can be done to better address violent crime in Las Cruces?
Thank you. We have luckily seen a small but definitely decrease in crime in the last couple of months. You know, we have a new interim police chief who I've had incredible conversations with, and one of the things we agree with is that we are not going to arrest our way out of crime. The reality is that there are many challenges facing our families right now, one of them being substance use disorder and mental health disorders, and there's very few resources here in southern New Mexico. And with historic state revenues projected once again at the state level, I really think we need to lobby and work with our state legislators to ensure that those resources are coming to our community. And I know I have the knowledge and experience to do that. You know, I'm a social worker, and I know that in order to address these issues in the long term, we have to address them at the root cause.
Okay, we're moving on to Mr. Ortega.
Okay. We need to look at the ordinance of the city, you know, because a lot of this crime that's being done in the city, they're getting us slapped on the wrist and walking off and redoing it all over again. I've been a victim of a crime many, many times, and it's, you know, nothing's done to them. They just walk away, and I'm left with the expense, which we need to check on that. And also, we need to train these officers to better adapt with these individuals that are on the street now, because it's not easy for them to be handling these people, because we have a hard time just as civilians handling these people when we go to Walgreens or the supermarket. So we need to look at all this and work with the city council all together and come up with a solution.
That is our time. We're moving on. Mr. Duran?
Yes, well, like I stated earlier, you know, enforcing a lot of our ordinances that we already have in place, we need to have a conversation about those. Also, you know, like you said, if an individual, it doesn't matter if they're, you know, if they're displaced or not displaced, if an individual commits a crime, there should be consequences for that, and no matter what that is. And if there is an underlying issue with a particular individual, then yes, we've needed these resources for a very long time to address that. And you know, I know we can even go across the lines into county and trying to get programs into county jails. We can do more. We can do more in that case. And also too, you know, we have a large variety of you know, individuals that are committing crimes that may have warrants in other cities or states, and we need to find ways to get those transported out as well.
Thank you very much. That is our time. We're moving on to question 5, and this has to do with property crime. What do you think can be done to address property crime in Las Cruces? And we're going to start with the incumbent candidate, Bencomo.
Thank you. As I mentioned before, one of the things I've already started working with city management on is bringing what is called an outreach or homelessness court. Outreach court would be an extension of municipal court, and it would specifically focus on populations that keep finding themselves in this misdemeanor area with property crime, and then are not being incarcerated, which I don't believe it's always the answer. In fact, I think a criminal record would make often things worse, as they would be harder to find a job and housing and things like that. And so this outreach court can plug people into wraparound services, counseling, community service, and really interrupt the patterns of violence. One of the other programs that I would like to fund and create is called a community-based violence intervention program. It is a street unit made up by peers who are meeting folks where they are and doing just wide street outreach and providing, it's sort of like the first hand and saying, what do you need? And we want to interrupt those patterns of violence in a meaningful way that
Okay.
lasts much longer than just a couple of weeks.
We're now moving on to Mr. Ortega.
Okay. All that said and good. We need to come up with a plan where these individuals that we've tried helping them. They've done the crime and they'll keep doing it. Yes, we need to be a little bit harder on them so they could start learning that they're going to be incarcerated if it continues doing what they're doing. Us citizens we're victims. Where's our rights? You know what I'm saying? Why do we keep protecting them? We need to do something about it, so they'll learn a lesson, that crime doesn't pay. Give the rights back to the citizens that are being victimized by these people.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to Mr. Duran.
Yes. So when I talk to local businesses and residents and I ask them, what do you need? They reply, they need help as well. And they need, I think we can do more in compensating those local businesses and that are victims of vandalism and property crime. We can also do more in make sure that there's security around those premises. Cameras don't always do the trick. I think we need to go beyond that. Even if there's footage, it's still difficult for an individual to be tracked. And even if they do, it just goes back into the same cycle and then they're put right back into the streets. And that doesn't help anybody. That does not help the individual who may have some underlying issues or may not, just wanted to commit a crime. Or, it definitely does not help the local business owner or the residents who are continuing to deal with that, nor is it helping law enforcement who continues to chase the same people over and over.
Mr. Ortega, what do you feel are the best strategies for addressing substance abuse in Las Cruces?
We need to, that's a good one. We need to find a way to where we could get help for these kids, teaching them, what's out there and trying to educate them that, what they're doing with these drugs is not going to take them anywhere but down the drain. We need to come up with get together and work out something that we could intervene with them and get them help at a young age, or teach them, educate them that with these drugs it's not going to be good.
All right, that's our time. Mr. Duran?
Okay, well, number one is, resources. I think that we could create more resources with stronger pipelines. We have a great source of resources right here at New Mexico State University. I think we can do better in developing more internships within the city. And even scholarships and possibly even grants for those individuals who want a degree in a lot of the things that we need here in Las Cruces and want to stay here in Las Cruces. So we do lose a lot of graduates to other, and not only that, but also medical students, nursing, doctors, all of that. We need to be more welcoming to a lot of these professions because we need these resources. And also too, education is a big thing. I think stronger family structures is one thing that I'm trying to do with my nonprofit, Buds, Bringing Up Dads, is developing stronger family structures and education and support for our families.
That is our time. Councilor Bencomo?
New Mexico and Las Cruces was just part of a huge opioid settlement in which Las Cruces will be receiving $9.8 million. Doñana County will be receiving $14.5 million. And we've come together and built a committee of experts, social workers, doctors, folks who deeply understand the opioid crisis, who deeply understand substance use disorder, and who deeply understand what it actually will take to bring change to our communities. So that committee is meeting already. That committee will be bringing recommendations to the City Council, and we just had a great work session on this. I think we have a critical opportunity with these funds to really inject them back into our community, particularly with those directly impacted folks, like families who've experienced the ripple effects of substance use. It is heartbreaking, and if we just see the data on fentanyl, it is, like I said earlier, a game changer, and so I'm excited about what this money will do for Las Cruces.
Okay, we're moving on to the next question. What can the City Council do to improve behavioral health resources in the community? We will begin with Mr. Duran.
Okay, thank you. I think touched on that a little bit with the pipelines and funding for scholarships and grants for students that want to stay here in Las Cruces and provide mental health services. Also, too, we can do more in inviting more licensed businesses that specialize in that. That's one of the things that I've experienced before is if you want to get help, if you want mental health services, there's a huge waiting list if you even get on a waiting list, and that, again, that's a lack of resources. This is something that's not new. This isn't something that these are things that we should have had done a long time ago. And so the other thing is we also need to spend our money wisely and invest into the right things.
Okay, incumbent candidate Bencomo.
Thank you so much. Of course, we know that the behavioral health system was completely decimated by the previous administration, and we're still recovering from that. But I think we should move away from that as a crutch, because we have a serious issue, especially in southern New Mexico, for lack of mental health resources. I was part of with Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, creating a crisis intervention team that then the fire department took and turned into this really powerful thing called Project Light, which is, they are EMTs and social workers responding to 911 behavioral health calls, because as we heard over and over again, our police department was feeling like they didn't have the capacity to handle those calls, nor should they have to. We need to connect the right first responder to the right emergency, and that's what Project Light is doing. So continuing to ensure that program, from the City Council's perspective, that program continues to thrive, but then working with the county to bring those resources. Again, because we have historic state revenues, this is really an opportunity to bring those resources to Las Cruces.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ortega.
We need to start at the young age of these kids. They need something to do. We need more Mearshite centers in this city to get them off the street, get them active into sports and stuff like that, where they're not out looking for other stuff to do. We need to start with the kids at a young age and teach them not, a different life. You know what I'm saying? To get away from, sports more important, stuff like that. We need more sports centers in the city to take that away. And what, yes, the city is working on all this, but are they really working on it? Is it right or wrong what they're doing? We need to work with all city council.
That is our time.
Okay.
We are now going to move on to the final question of the program.
For Councilwoman Bencomo, how can the City Council work to support public health needs in Las Cruces?
Wow. Threw me for a curveball there. I wasn't expecting a public health question. Absolutely. I mean, public health is huge, right? I mean, I think one of the biggest public health issues impacting Las Cruces right now is the housing crisis. We have a rental unit shortage of 5,600 units. Rents are increasing. Home ownership is further and further away for so many people. And so I really believe that when we think about public health, it really starts with shelter. And do you have a safe place to call home? And do you have economic stability? And so we have to ensure that we continue to invest in housing affordability. In the next few months, you will see 300 units come to life, 300 apartments, and then within the next couple of years, 900 more. But I really believe that this is the biggest issue facing Las Cruces. And then when I take it to a smaller level, I also want to make sure that we are going after these abandoned properties that are causing a huge public safety hazard to many neighborhoods around District 4.
Okay, Mr. Ortega.
Yes, we do need affordable housing in this city, but we need to start with the basic with these kids and the adults from the home up. The housing is a good idea, but is it going to really help them? That's the question. You know, is it going to give them the stability that they need? You know, is it what their plans are? Is it right or wrong? We need to work together and see it. You know, do they have a pilot thing that are they trying that it's going to work?
As our time, we will move on to Mr. Duran.
Okay, I just want to clarify, this was about public health, correct?
Yes, the question, you know, how can this city council work to support public health needs in the city?
I just wanted to clarify. Okay, yeah, so like I said earlier, you know, resources, you know, inviting be more welcoming to licensed professionals in the medical field and in public health, working closer with the Department of Health, you know, as well. You know, they do a lot of really great things. You know, I know a lot of what they do is, you know, with all kinds of diseases and things that we don't even think about. You know, COVID was a big one, but there are far other ones as well. Also, too, healthcare. You know, when I talk to a lot of my local business owner friends, they you know, they tell me, you know, it's really difficult to pay for, you know, to compete with big corporations that with paying their employees healthcare. I think we can do better in helping our local businesses with that as well, paying their employees and the healthcare. The other oh man, I had one more too.
We have now reached the end of the KRWG Public Media Las Cruces City Council District 4 Candidate Forum. We want to thank our candidates, Johana Bencomo, Ramon Ortega, and Gabriel Duran Jr. Thank you to our co-moderator, Liz Rodriguez-Johnson with the League of Women Voters of Southern New Mexico. I'm Anthony Moreno. Thank you for joining us. And remember, Election Day is Tuesday, November 7th.